Hi, and welcome back to a podcast above a convenience store, Talking Twin Peaks. I'm Joe Fremming from the joedown.blog. With me, as always, is Paul Muad'Dib. Hello, Paul.
Hello, Joe.
And we're back with The Return. We're getting pretty balls deep into what we both have agreed is our favorite Lynch project of all time. But before we get into it, Paul, you have some news.
I do have some news. Unfortunately, to our audience, we're going to go on hiatus after this episode. I'm going to be undergoing surgery next week, and I won't know what my recovery time's going to be until after the surgery is done. And with the surgery, I'm going to be laid up. I'm not going to be able to sit up a whole lot. My whole thing is either going to be laying down or standing. I'm going to be limited on how I sit. So, as we go on, we could be on hiatus for a week. We could be on hiatus for 3 weeks. We'll probably let you know through the joedown.blog as well as our Facebook page what when we'll be coming back.
Well, yeah, and good luck with the surgery, Paul. And to quote the title of this episode, "Don't die."
I don't. If I die from the surgery, I have a shitty life, man.
Oh, all right. So, yeah, we're in part 6 now, and it kind of picks up the last episode left off. Cooper's still at the statue.
So sad. It's just sad.
Again, on the rewatches, like I just appreciate Dougie more and more.
Yeah, he's trying to take his cuff off of his shirt. Of his jacket or something.
Yeah, he's captivated by the guy's badge too. Like,
yes.
Something's resonating with Cooper. We see these things, and then we'll see it as they come along too. There's like things with like law enforcement and things that seems to jog something in Dougie. As we discussed, Cooper is well aware of what's going on. He just doesn't have control over all his faculties at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's very much trapped inside of his own mind. And, when watching this episode, I also get the sense that, like, part of, there's so many metaphors and so many things that have meaning in this, in the return, that you can really grab from. But one of I think the obvious in this episode is just the depression of abuse, and what it causes, and that's what I really got out of this particular episode.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and it's funny when I see Dougie, and I think I've said this before, but like, there's been like, we've gone through traumas in our life.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been a couple that hit me hard where I felt inside like how Dougie's acting. Like I just, I'm numb to the world.
Oh,
I just love that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be the first one to admit that, and we've all experienced a trauma, and I have gone through disassociative periods for some of the really extreme traumas that I've gone through, where it's like watching me do things. I have no control over what I'm doing. I'm either going through the motions or I'm just numb and I'm just watching my body on auto.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yep, and I've been through that too. And so it's like watching The Return and like kind of seeing that. Like, I don't know if that's what they were intending, but that's how I see Dougie, and that's just like my interpretation. Because Cooper's obviously been through a trauma. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's been in the Black Lodge for 25 years with a bubblegum tree and a one-armed man who all speak backward.
Yes. And, I compare Lynch to Kubrick, that he's very methodical in what he does. And I do think that part of why he's so cagey in interviews when people want to know the meanings of it is because he sets things up with enough mystery that you're supposed to think and come up, and his ideas are there's 5, there's 10, there's 15 different ways that you could interpret what's going on. It's not my place to say what is right for you.
He's also said in interviews like his projects are like a mystery where the viewer is the detective.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of fits in. But so we got Dougie, and the security guard thinks he might be messed up on drugs or he might be drunk. And they bring poor Dougie home, and he doesn't even know his own address. He just knows the color of the door.
He knows the color of the door and Lancelot.
Yep.
And I have to say, this is the first person who's actually given genuine concern about Dougie that I can think of.
There's been some. Jade seemed concerned, but she really, she just dumps him off at the casino.
Right. After she tells him he had a stroke.
The guy, his buddy at the casino, his wife seemed concerned. So there's some people who see something's not right. Even like in this episode, his boss seems like a little concerned at times.
Yeah.
Until he sees like what Dougie's showing him. But we'll get to that. So they get to the door, and there's an envelope on the porch from some hired goons, we find out.
These guys are great.
It's pictures of Dougie with Jade, and of course, Dougie sees the pictures of Jade, and he gets all excited.
Jade.
She gives 2 rides.
And all his wife all Jade can say is, I bet she does.
I love Naomi Watts in this, man. She is. The humor here is just great. Like the exasperated wife with, and like, because like Dougie's easy, he's just like, people just, when they're talking to Dougie, they're just talking to themselves. Like there's no audience.
Right. Absolutely. And I love Naomi Watts. I couldn't see anyone else playing this character.
No, and I love her as an actress, and I think like a lot of people, I first got aware of her because of David Lynch from Mulholland Drive.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, she really owes Lynch her career.
Yeah, she seems just to love the guy. Everybody who works with Lynch, for the most part, seem to love working with him.
Yes.
Anthony Hopkins did not like working with David Lynch.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
He just didn't, because he was like kind of an established, well-trained actor when they did Elephant Man, and Lynch was just so. It's just first kind of movie. Like Eraserhead was like, it's a cult following, but apparently he butted heads with Lynch on the making of Elephant Man. And there's times with other actors, like we talked about with Belushi in this, like some people just don't jibe with Lynch's direction.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
But so Janie has the phone rings. Phone rings. Dougie just looks fascinated and kind of frightened by
it. Yes, he does.
He reminds me a lot of Baby Yoda in The Mandalorian, just taking it all in.
Yes.
They couldn't Disney couldn't capitalize on Dougie Jones action figures for some reason.
I want a Dougie Jones action.
I do too.
Holy shit. I wonder if there's a Funko Pop of him, because I do have one of Cooper and Audrey.
I got all the Twin Peaks ones. They do not, but they got Cooper, Audrey, Laura, Log Lady, the Giant, Bob, and Leland.
Nice. Yeah, I saw the Laura wrapped in plastic one.
Yeah, that one's the most morbid of my Funko Pop collection. That one probably raises the most eyebrows when people see it.
Right. So she she sends him upstairs first to go see Sonny Jim. Before she gets the
she's talking to these hired goons on the phone.
Oh yes.
And my favorite line is like, who can get that kind of money? Getting that kind of money is hard, especially with broken legs, because she's like, what are you gonna do, break his legs?
I know. She takes no shit. Again, she's a strong-willed woman. I absolutely love her.
Yeah.
And this is, and she totally, this is like right after she sees him holding hands and being all cuddle with Jade.
Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah, they agree to meet in the park. She says, I'll take care of it. And she was going to take him to the doctor. And now she can't because she has to deal with these goons.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. This happens after. But yeah, so Cooper, yeah, so she's dealing with the hired goons. She sends Dougie up to say goodnight to Sonny Jim. And he has no idea where he's going. He doesn't even know how to walk upstairs.
He stands there. He doesn't quite understand it. And then he kind of turns and looks, and then he comes back in. I was thinking to myself, from Sonny Jim's position, what do you think of your dad at this point?
Again, I think like the Tulpa must have had episodes like this because everybody seems to think this is normal for Dougie.
Yeah, because when she's talking to the cop, when the cop drops him off, the security guard, she's like, this is him on a good day. What?
He seemed lucid when we saw the original Dougie with Jade.
Well, all he said though was his left arm was numb though. So, and then she gets in the shower and then go, "Oh yeah, you had a stroke." Again, I want to see the show. Right? We talked about this. I want to see the Sonny, the Dougie Jones and Janie, like what happened leading up to Cooper jumping in his body. Just give me a 4-episode run. I don't need a full season. Just give me 4 episodes.
Yeah, just a slice of life and what that relationship was like.
Right?
Oh my God! Because again, so Dougie's in Sonny Jim's room, and Sonny Jim thinks he's playing around and he's like or horsing around because Dougie discovers the clapper.
God, that's
turn the lights back on.
He is memorized by this clapper, man. And Sonny Jim's like, no, Dad.
Oh, all right. Now they go back, and then the phone rings. Janie sets up a meet time with the hired goons around 12:30 the next day.
Noon the next day.
And then Dougie's just kind of he's heading towards the case files now.
Yep, because she tells him if that's work, he better get it done, and she storms off.
Yeah, and then we get a callback to the original series with the streetlights changing.
And but we get an added electricity to it, right?
Yeah.
And that will become, I think, more important in episode 8.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So, but as we've discussed, when that light turns red, it means something's about to happen. Something bad's about to happen in the show, or at least within the next whatever. But we don't know what it signifies. I kind of wish I had a heads up on that one because that was like it's still one of the more disturbing things I've seen.
I think that what it is this is my thought with the streetlight is that it's showing that particular streetlight is when it's red, the lodges, the Black Lodge entities are about.
I see it signaling danger.
Okay.
Because we see it signal and Fire Walk with Me, Laura gets killed.
We
see it. In the finale of season 2, Cooper, they go into the Black Lodge, and in this episode, I think it signifies danger in that the little kid with Richard. That's what I take from it, but I could be wrong.
Well, no, absolutely, and I just think the whole thing with Richard, as we'll get into real quick here, is a thing, yeah. But what happens next is though. Cooper's staring at the floor, and Mike appears.
Yeah, and he's our avatar, people. You have to wake up. Mm-hmm. Which I think my first time through, I was like, yes, wake up.
You have to wake up. don't die. Is what he basically tells him.
Which he says 3 times.
3 times. And what's interesting is he's backwards, right? So he's as his arm goes back, don't die, don't die, don't die. And it's really interesting. Instead of pointing at Cooper, it's when the arm is going backwards that he says. I just thought that was a really cool aesthetic.
Yeah, yeah. And then we start seeing more of the green light that guides Dougie, basically the lodge mate, keeping Cooper alive.
Yes, absolutely.
And he starts doodling on his case files. They're basically a series of ladders and stairs, and he circles names, or he'll draw like a black thing next to names, and it just seems like a bunch of gibberish. My original thought was he was trying to like express how he got out of the lodge, because it kind of felt like he was drawing like the ladder he got out of when he was out in the purple space thing. It could be. I don't know.
Well, and so I want to talk a little bit about, because as I was watching it, I was looking at the names of what's on these things, and Anthony Sinclair is on every one of these forms. Rod and Brad Mitchum on a commercial property owner's perils chart. They're on there. There's reference to a hotel owner named Jake Cavello, Nancy Darren, who is on a non-waiver agreement. There's a David Eubank. There's a Scott Cameron. There's a Carolyn King. Except for Anthony Sinclair, Rod Mitchum, and Brad Mitchum, all the other names are production crew members.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Jake Cavello is the art development production assistant. Nancy Darren is a set designer. David Eubanks was a camera first assistant. Scott Cameron was the first assistant director. And Carolyn King worked as the art department coordinator.
That's awesome. That is really cool. Yeah. I love that shit. I love it when they give, little nods to the people behind the scenes, that sort of stuff. Those little Easter eggs I like. And it's not, Lynch, again, he likes working with you. He lets you know.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he does.
But, Paul, we need to get to Albert.
Oh my God. I fucking love Albert, dude. Albert goes to Max Von's bar, which I think was a reference to, what's his name? Max Von, what's his last name? Max von Sydow.
Yeah, I think that is too. Again, Lynch likes you. He'll throw a little nod your way. Mm-hmm. Albert, it's a rainy night. Last time we saw them, he said he knows where she drinks.
And he's on the phone with
Cole, who's enjoying a nice Bordeaux.
with a obviously attractive woman.
Albert's pissed.
Albert's so pissed.
And again, this one of my favorite quotes in all of Twin Peaks. He's in the rain. He's walking. He steps into like a puddle. He just says, "Fuck Gene Kelly, you motherfucker."
Fuck Gene Kelly, you motherfucker. And the way his voice comes out sounds like a 20-year younger Miguel Ferrier, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, when they were making this, he was, I think he was sick. He was diagnosed with his cancer when they were filming this. So it was nice to see him like be able to give it all.
And he does. Fuck Gene Kelly, you motherfucker.
And so we get in the bar, and after years and years and years of mystery behind who Cooper's been sending his inane ramblings to, we meet Diane.
You meet Diane.
And who else can play Diane but Laura fucking Dern?
Oh my God, yeah. When she turned her, actually, when I saw the back of her head, I'm like, is that Laura? That's got to be Laura Dern. That looks like a Laura Dern head. And she turned around, I was like, Laura Dern.
And I love, and again, the return seems like a culmination of Lynch's whole thing, and we'll get to it get to it like later. I think is mostly in part like 17, 18. It's so awesome to see Laura Dern and Kyle MacLachlan on screen together. Like we haven't seen that since Blue Velvet.
Yes, absolutely. And Laura Dern is another one of those actresses that, and she's in something, I'm gonna love it.
Yeah. Well, you probably, I think you didn't love Last Jedi. Not yeah, Last.
I haven't seen it.
Well, she's in it.
Well, I haven't seen it, so I've been kind of, like I said, doing an aside here. We talked about toxic fandom, and the Star Wars fandom to me has gotten so toxic. I'm just out. I just don't even care anymore. I'm done.
I watch the movies and I just keep it to myself.
Fair enough.
I can't deal with the fandom either. Yeah. It's gotten poisoned. But yeah, it's nice. We finally have a face to Diane. Even in like the missing pieces, there's that scene with Diane, but we only see Cooper doing like wall exercises. Yeah,
that's why he's fucking bothering her.
Poor woman.
Yeah, you could just imagine how fun a relationship that they had together. Looking at that, again, missing pieces was, it's needed, I think, to watch the return. But so he says hi, Diane. She turns around and says hi, Albert, and that's all we fucking get.
Yeah.
Because we're getting to my least favorite part of the the return.
Yeah, it's mine too. It's the drug dealer. Shelley's kind of the guy she's like, we saw her kind of flirting with.
Yes, Red.
What's his name again?
His name's Red.
Red, yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, that shows how much I care about this storyline, is that I don't even remember the fucking character's name.
Yes, that was Balthazar Getty playing him, by the way.
Yeah. Great actor. I just don't care about this shit.
Well, I thought this was interesting because, again, I brought it up. I can't remember which episode of our podcast we did, but I brought this up showing that he's a lodge entity as well.
I don't think so.
You don't? How did he do the magic trick then, dude?
Because Richard's fucked up on the fucking drugs.
Oh, you think that's a drug? I didn't.
I think it's a drug side effect. I don't think. This is the thing with like Twin Peaks. Everything's like got to be linked to the law. I just think Richard was fucked up on drugs, and he just kind of knew how to fuck with him with it. Like I used to do that with people at parties all the time in high school. If I knew they were on acid, I'd fuck with them.
Interesting. Okay, see, I took it as that was lodge magic.
No, I don't think so. But
the you know what?
We're not always going to agree.
No, and again, I just to plead my case on that one, it's because he's running the drug that we find out later fucks people up, and that Mr. C was involved in. And I do think there's been this running theme throughout that what we saw last episode with that device shrinking, that Mr. C has kind of taken some of this lodge stuff and put it in with technology. We saw it in the glass box. So I think that this drug is part of that. That's the Sparkle, but that's my take.
Yeah, I don't think Sparkle has anything with the lodge. I just think it's a designer drug Mr. C came up with. It just seems weird to try to synthesize the lodge into a drug for me. Maybe that's just, I can't wrap my head around that sort of thing, but
I don't think it's the lodge. It might be, it might be the motor oil that causes the Gargambosa that they can use.
Yeah, I could see that.
But you have a great
point
over
on your side. A part of the show neither of us very much like.
Well, and again, yes, and it's such a small. I mean, this drug thing is a small part, even though later it creates a really weird scene, and you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And but yeah, this is also such a small part of this.
I think it's a lot more, for me, it's mirroring what was happening. Like, things are still the same in Twin Peaks. The drugs are still being run down through Canada.
Yeah.
The coke was with Leo and Bobby. And again, parallels, Red is Shelley's boyfriend, and he's also like Leo.
Yes. So she got another Leo, and Richard Horn is our Bobby?
Yeah, well, I mean,
he did shoot a
Bobby
cop.
shot that cop, but Richard runs over a child.
Oh my god. Yeah, so he fucks with Red fucks with Richard and
Kid.
yeah, calling him kid, and this drives him nuts. And what I thought was also interesting was he's driving a diesel truck. Why does Richard have a diesel truck?
Well, there's theories about where this truck came from.
Oh, let's hear that.
What's that? It gets to the. What's the name that everybody's like? When later on, Audrey's always she's wanting to know where this person is. Billy. There's theories that it's Billy's truck.
Okay, all right, makes sense.
It's like it's the truck is Billy's. Richard borrowed it. That's why Andy goes to Billy's place to ask about the car.
Yes.
But we're going to the new Fat Trout.
Yes.
Carl
Rod is hanging out with Mickey and Bill. And poor dude, Harry Dean Stanton looks so rough.
Yeah.
During this.
He's in his 90s.
Yeah.
Filming this, like, not many people look great in their 90s.
No, he didn't. I don't think he was quite that old. Because I thought he was born in 1940. What's that?
Let me see. Harry Dean. He was born in 1926.
You're right. He was born in 1926. Holy shit.
Yeah, he got into acting later in life.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so all right. Yeah, he there wasn't much makeup work to be done. Although I think they did do makeup, and he probably looks better than what he did off. But Carl's hanging out with Bill and Mickey in the new Fat Trout trailer park.
He gets his ride to town every day because at his age, he doesn't have a whole lot to look forward to, he says.
And Mickey says he's still got a lot of mileage on him? Yeah. Sadly, that would be wrong.
Oh, God. And the actor who played Mickey, he got in legal problems.
Did he?
Yeah, shortly after the actor.
Jeremy Linden? Yes. He was arrested for assaulting his girlfriend with a baseball bat.
Yeah.
And was charged with second-degree murder, second-degree assault, and unlawful imprisonment.
Yeah, he was in a Twin Peaks group on Facebook, and we found out about that in our group because he was like a regular contributor, and then people found out about that, and it was like, oh, yeah.
Oh, that's shitty.
Yeah, and then maybe it was from the not smoking.
God damn it, Joe. Yeah. Yeah.
Carl's visibly upset that Mickey quit smoking a year ago.
Yeah. He's upset. He's upset that he can't, and Carl doesn't care. He's just gonna smoke right in his face.
Yeah. What does he say? I've been smoking every day for 75 years.
I've been smoking every day for 75 years. Yep.
Oh.
And so then it cuts to
the double R.
The double R. And we see Heidi, who all she can do is laugh.
Yep.
And she's talking
nice to see Heidi back.
Nice to see Heidi back. And it's the same actress, by the way, people. It's the same actress. And she's talking to
jumpstart her man that morning, you think?
Jumpstart the old man? Probably.
Oh.
And she's talking to Miriam, I believe is her name.
Yep, Miriam. She comes into play she's part of she'll come in more, but right at this part, we only know she's the best pie customer.
And she can't afford to be buying the pies. And but she's addicted to the pies, so Shelley says very nicely that next time they're going to treat her on the pie will be on the store. Yeah. And we cut back to Horn, who's driving and freaking out.
Yeah, because he's all fucked up on that sparkle shit.
Yep. and there's a car stopped, and he decides to go around, and the mom and this little boy are playing the weirdest game. And by the way,
Is that game?
I catch, I don't know, it's like I thought it was a Sonny Jim game, honestly, when I first saw it the first time. I'm like, is that Sonny Jim being weird? Um, as a parent, 'cause, I have a brood. This, not the fact that the kid got ran. I mean, yes, the kid gets run over, and it's awful. And again, it's my least favorite part of the show because I just got lulled into a false sense of security last episode where they don't kill the kid, and then he kills the kid in this episode. Bait and switch, motherfucker.
Yes, the old David Lynch bait and switch.
It is the whole David Lynch bait and switch. Oh, you think you're safe? Fuck you! I'm killing the kid. But the fact that all my kids, I would never let them run in front of me in a crosswalk. Ever. I don't care where it is. I mean, I live in a town of 5,000 people. I probably live in a town that has less people in it than Twin Peaks at this point. And they have to stay beside me or behind me. I go first. And this mom's just like, okay. The truck raves her through, and she's like, okay, run, little Timmy, run. And little Timmy gets just taken out. And Lynch stays on this a bit long.
Yeah.
Very uncomfortable scene.
Yeah, that's what Lynch is good. He's good at making us feel uncomfortable. And a scene that's already uncomfortable, because it's not often you see a child gets killed pretty graphically in a TV show or a movie. I can't really think of a lot of them where I can't even think of one at the moment.
I could think of a movie. I can think of the Pet Cemetery.
But this is, it's.
But this is more. I mean, I can't think of a show that focuses on the dead body. Like the mom's holding the dead body for a while.
Yeah, he does a good. It makes you feel uncomfortable, and you feel sad because you're all these people are standing around. They don't know what to do. Like a child just got ran over and killed in front of them, and Carl sees this and he walks over, and he's consoling her. The only way Carl knows how, and by being kind of weird, be a weirdo about it, is the best way. But he's been places, man.
He's been places, and again, he also sees basically the child's soul.
Yep.
He can see the child's soul. It goes away. He knows the kid's dead, so he goes and just kind of.
You notice it doesn't just go away in the sky; it goes away in the electrical lines.
In the electrical lines, right? Yep, absolutely.
I missed that the first time. Like I thought I was just going up in the sky. Now, for this, and we're talking about the electricity and how Lynch is kind of obsessed with it. Mm-hmm. That's where the souls go, is in the electricity.
Yes, and there is something though that I also had to laugh at during this scene, and I felt bad laughing because it is such a serious scene. When they are cutting to the people that are staring, it's bad. Some of the reaction shots are really, really bad, man.
These are not professional actors.
No, obviously not, because these are like I paid them $25 to be a stand-in, because some of these I was just like, really, like that's how you're gonna look?
Yeah. But then there's a mystery thing too. So the child's soul goes away. Then we see the number 6 electrical pole that we last saw in Fire Walk with Me.
Yes.
Same numbers. We talked about it, I think, in like part 2 or 3, numerology and all that. This electric pole is haunting Carl Rod's life.
It is haunting.
Because it was a fat trout in Deer Meadow. And now it's back in Twin Peaks.
Yes, and I do think no. There's 2 schools of thought on this that I had before we came into it. One, that is a link to the White to a White Lodge, but I don't think so. The other thing I think is going back to my theory about the drug, and that Horn killed this kid, and he's infected with the Black Lodge, and so this soul was sent to the Black Lodge.
Yeah.
Those are my two schools of thoughts.
Spoiler alert, Richard Horn's dad is from the Black Lodge, so I'm just going to not agree with the drug thing. I think it's probably more of his lineage than Sparkle.
Yes, that is a spoiler, but absolutely. I mean, if you're this far into the show, into the podcast, you've probably seen this already.
Yeah, I'd hope so.
I hope so too.
We just hold up on spoilers just because we don't want to talk about them.
Yeah, or if you're watching along like I do with the Office podcast, I mean, sorry, but that will come up. But that was pretty much honestly, there was already people knew by this point that that's what was going on with Richard Horn as well.
Yeah.
So then we cut back to Duncan Todd.
Or Duncan.
Oh man, and he gets a weird virus red screen on his that just shows up on his computer, and which again leads me to that technology being merged with the lodge stuff, and he closes it out. It definitely looks like the red from the curtains.
Yeah. And
he closes it out and he goes and gets a file and it's got a black circle on it. Yep.
That can't be good. He doesn't look happy when he has to do this.
No, he is not happy at all when he has to do this. Immediately cutting to Dougie's car.
Yep. Over in Rancho Rosa.
And there's a guy. We see 119 woman again, and they're on her roof.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, the car exploded. Parts of it are going to fly somewhere.
Yep. So they're looking for Dougie's license plate so they can recognize what the car is and get registration on it, and it's on her roof. So here's this cop yelling his license plate across the fucking yard. Did you get all that? Yep.
Oh, God. Yeah, so Jane is going to find out what happened to Dougie's car at some point. Because she keeps asking him, and he's not answering.
Nobody's home. Nobody's home.
But now we got to go to the Premier Hotel, where we meet one of my favorite new characters, Ike.
Yes. Ike, the Spike Sadler.
Oh, he's throwing dice in his room and drinking, and I have no idea what he's doing here.
Now, whenever I see someone rolling dice, I had some friends of mine many years ago. I never got into it, but they were on meth, and every time I'd go and see them, they'd be sitting at a table rolling dice, all methed out. And that was one of the reasons why I never touched it. I was like, that doesn't look like a good time to me.
No, that does not sound like a good time. I mean, Ike, I don't think he's on meth. I think he's writing down like the results. So
yeah,
I think he's, I don't know,
like OCD or on the spectrum,
or he's trying to figure out how to, predict numbers or something. Or
predictability.
Since it is Vegas, it wouldn't surprise me if that's something he thinks he can crack. It's not, but all the power to him. And then the envelope we saw earlier slides under his door.
Mm-hmm.
And there's two pictures. The woman who we last saw wasn't too happy about Dougie vanishing.
Nope, and sending the message Argent.
Yep. And the other target is Dougie Jones himself. So,
yes, and he stabs them, plays with them, and stabs it with his ice pick.
Yep. He loves the ice pick.
I love his ice pick. Yeah, this is one of my favorite new characters, and I have some horrible things to say that's going to be really offensive later. So I apologize now when we get to that part. If you're offended, send me an email. So we got to Cooper, who can't get out of the elevator.
It seems like he's playing though, like the look on his face is almost like a little mischievous, like he's a kid fucking with people.
Yeah, absolutely. Because he's just staring. I got more that he was having enjoyment of the elevator opening and closing. That's more the vibe I got. Like my 2-year-old when she stares at the elevator and it just opens and closes. She loves that door opening and closing.
Yeah, he's just, he's a child. He's a blank slate at this point.
So
Mullins wants him in his office, but he won't respond to Jones.
no, he responds to Dougie, and he doesn't want to go. Like, so he goes over there, and the door gets closed. And they are going over, and he's just like, "What is this childish scribblings you got here?" And it starts to make sense to him.
Yeah, he started to see, because what I think Cooper's trying to draw is he's trying to explain his escape from the lodge. But what the lodge is telling him where to draw these things is connecting the dots for Mullins, that these names are coming up in each case. Spoiler, who cares if it's a spoiler? We kind of get the gist of what's going on. Is there's fraud going on, and it's Tom Sizemore.
Yes. And what I took the ladders and stairs to mean was that look at what this insurance is for. Probably somebody falling, someone getting hurt, whatever it may be, or fire escapes and going. And so it makes sense with him. And he's, what I thought was really cool and was kind of a throwback to Cooper was he's like, this doesn't make sense. And he says, make sense of it. And he said it very methodically, right? Like the way he held make was almost authoritative. Like, look at it, get it right.
And that's like a little glimmer that Cooper's in there. It just takes a lot for him to have a moment.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Janie is at the park with her red purse.
Oh my God.
Her tirade is amazing in this scene. So these two guys are like the scuzziest looking fucks ever, right?
One of them, the one with like the weird mullet and beard, like he's in a lot of stuff. I forget his name, but he's been in a lot of he's a pretty good TV character actor.
Mm-hmm. Well, there was Ronnie Jean Blevins played Tommy, and Jimmy was played by, who the fuck was Jimmy played by? Jeremy Davies.
And I think Jeremy Davies, he was in like Lost, and he was in Justified. He does a good job as they're both enjoyable. But they're like, Dougie threw down 20 grand on a bet and lost, and now they want $52K. And then Janie goes and talks about like that interest rate, like.
Yeah, she goes off. My bank that doesn't even give me 1% would love it 25%, which I'm going to give you. And how dare you? Because I didn't know he was spending this money. And she just goes off on these two guys. They don't know how to handle it. No. And the funny thing is that they just got $420,000. She's still gonna barter with the loan sharks, is what we find out these guys are. Dougie made a bad football bet, and so he owes $25,000. But now it's $52,000 because of how long it's been for him to repay them, and they take the $25,000 for her. Yeah. And then, what does he say? Tough dame.
Yeah, tough dame. It's a shrewd move on Janie, but I think it one, she made him go to a public park to do this, and two, by not giving them the $50K. Because otherwise, if she did that, there's chances they'll try to extort her more.
Yes.
But giving them half, give them like the $25K, is just pretty much just shut up, here's the money, and go away.
Yeah, and they take it. And again, this just goes to show how, like, it gives a more insight into Janie as a character. Like, I kind of always wonder, like, how was she put up with Dougie?
That's why we need that show, man. We need the 4-episode Dougie and Janie E.
We do. However, I kind of get the feeling that there is a domineering, submissive relationship going on there.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it. I think she enjoys the power that she has over Dougie in a way.
Yeah.
And lets him kind of get away with these things because it gives her more power over him.
Yeah.
That's my take.
That's probably why it goes to Jade for 2 rides.
Jake, give two rides.
Oh, let's head over and see what Ike the Spike is up to because he's having a blast.
Oh my God, the song that's playing, and he just comes in and you just hear a scream, and he comes through and he's got blood all over his hand, and he takes that woman out. I think her name was Lorraine, and she's credited as Lorraine.
Yeah.
And this is the part where I was going to say it's offensive, folks. Why didn't someone just punt him? I'm sorry.
I was gonna say because he seems like a little person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he technically. I don't know. I don't know. But all I know is like when he screams, he sounds a lot like Bob.
Yes.
Screams. That was cool.
And he's got those nasty teeth that go with it to just make him more menacing.
Yeah.
But this whole time
when he goes to Lorraine, he just like she tries to run it. He just jumps right in, man. I don't know if a punch would work. Like he seems pretty determined to stab me.
He goes right to work. She gets up from her desk, tries to get away. He corners her and just goes to town.
Yeah, he just literally jumps right into her with his spike.
Yeah, with his spike, and it is.
Poor woman sees it. And he runs after her.
And it's an off-screen death, and I wish it was on-screen because I want to see that.
He took her pretty hard because it bent his spike.
Oh, and you hear the one thing he's like, "Aw." Yep, you could tell that he's sad because his spike is broke, and that's an amazing scene. Like I was just laughing the whole time.
Oh my God.
I was just like the first time I watched it, I was just in shock. I think of what was going on. This time around, I was like, "Holy shit, this is brilliant!"
It's hilarious.
It is.
He just wipes them all
out. It's really quick. He just takes out this whole office. Like I just imagine him slaughtering this whole company. Like this is what Ike the Spike did.
That's the thing with Ike is the element of surprise. You're not expecting it. Man, that determined.
He loves what he does, and it shows. We cut to Richard, who pulls off in this field and begins wiping blood off the kid's blood off the truck rail to remind us that Richard Horn ran over a kid.
Which it seems like that's pretty fresh blood. It shouldn't be that hard to wipe off.
Well, here's the thing. He drove a ways, and what we didn't talk about was Miriam saw him.
Miriam saw him. That's going to come up later.
Yes, that's going to come up later.
And
but
he
it's
saw that she saw him.
Yes, she saw that. Yes, they saw each other, and that's just. I just want to make that reference that we covered that because that will come up. We immediately cut to the restroom.
Yeah, drops a coin after. I've dropped change in the public men's room. You just let it go.
You let it go, man. You let it go.
You don't want that in your pocket.
No, but it shows that Hawk is a frugal man because he goes into that stall and he notices that the paneling is bent, and he looks at the name of it, and it's Nez Perce.
Nez Perce Manufacturing.
Nez Perce Manufacturing, which is a throwback to the Secret History, and he realizes my heritage, and he gets a crowbar and starts taking it apart, and in comes Chad the ass and Chad the Chad, and he starts. Does the sheriff know you're doing this? He comes in with his coffee and a thing. I never take my coffee in to take shit at work. Like that's weird.
No, I leave it at my desk.
Mm-hmm. You leave your coffee at your desk. Don't take people who are listening to this. If you're that guy, don't be that guy because everyone's talking about you behind your back. Like you're
the one who's drinking our fecal matter.
Exactly. There's two things you don't do. You don't take the coffee into it, and you don't talk to yourself when you shit. I worked with a person who did that in the office. Like would yell at their shit when they were trying to go. Don't be that person either.
I knew somebody who did that too. One of my roommates when I was in my 20s. It's very frightening.
Yeah. Don't be that person.
But he pulls the panel back, and after he tells Chad, and Chad's like, I'll tell the sheriff. And he's like, yeah, go tell him. Like, I don't give a shit. Leave me alone, Chad.
Leave me alone, Chad, you Chad. And he gets some papers.
Yep. I kind of want to talk about this a little bit.
Please.
because what we know, these are Laura's missing pages from her diary.
Mm-hmm.
My theory is Leland stashed these in there.
Oh.
When he was arrested.
Oh, that's a good theory.
That he hid them. So he hid them basically in, because there's a scene where he has to use the restroom in the original run. He's arrested. I think this is when he hides those pages.
Okay, now here's my question to you on this, because I see a hole in that, and my thought on that is that those were from the secret diary, not the diary that they got, and Leland never got access to those secret diary. It was destroyed at what's his nuts place, and only the police officers were able to get a hold of that.
Well, remember, Laura had that. She had a diary, and then she found people were looking into it. So that's another thing it could be.
So do you think that
these are the pages that were ripped out in Fire Walk with Me when she came home?
Oh yeah, because time doesn't, because our whole thing about time being irrelevant.
It's not linear with this.
It's not linear in there, and Bob would have seen that and taken it, and those might have been the torn out pages before she gave it to. Yeah. But did she have the dream before then? I don't think she had the dream before then.
She might have. I don't know. I don't remember, but I think what Lynch is setting up, and again, continuity is not David Lynch's.
No, it's not. No, it's not. And there's a lot.
But I think that's the implied. These are the pages that when Laura came home and Fire Walk with Me, and she's going through her diary, and she finds those pages that are torn out, and she really freaks out. Leland stashed those because it incriminates him.
Yeah, I like that. I'm going to go with it.
I mean, there's holes. I mean, those continuity holes. But again, this is why I love doing the podcast where we can bounce ideas. Except for the drug stuff, since it's such a
minor,
it's a minor deep thing. Plot.
Yeah, like,
are we going to get deep into James and Evelyn now?
Oh God, no, God damn it, no. I like that idea, and I'm going to say that you're probably right on that, because Secret History retconned a lot from what was done. And
we're not even done with that, because Final Dossier does even some more retconning.
Right. Final Dossier does that. And I could see this being part of that because of kind of the thing about Margaret and Hawk in the Secret History. So I'm going to go with your theory on this and say, yeah, that when Leland went to use the bathroom, he hid those pages in there. I'm with you on that.
He bent it back and threw them in there.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say you're right. I'm gonna go with that theory.
Yeah, it's not really my theory. I read somewhere and it made sense to me, and that's kind of, I don't remember where I read it, but I think that pushed me in that direction. And again, we could be wrong, but I just don't see who else would be stashing Laura's diary pages.
Right.
Harold never made it to the police station because he killed himself.
Mm-hmm.
The only person who ever had access to Laura diaries would be Leland.
Yep.
That's the only thread between those and being at the police station. But again, it could be, who the fuck knows? It could be the bubblegum tree for all I know.
It could, the lodge could have hid the papers, but no, I don't think so. I think that's really good, because also that would have, especially those pages, would have given away a lot of what was to come.
Yeah.
And so I'm with you on that. I'll say yes. I think you're right. I think Leland did stash them. I'll agree with you on that.
Cool.
And then,
but now we go. Doris is mad at Frank
because the leaky pipe's still not fixed.
Oh.
And she goes off in front of everybody.
Yeah, Frank has quite the home life, I think.
Yeah. Well, we find out more insight into their home life, because Chad says something. I can't remember what it was. I fucking wiped it from my brain.
Oh, he was just like, he says something, and then Maggie informs us that their son committed suicide. And I have something about Maggie.
Okay. All right.
She's played by Jody Teelan. That
Mhm.
is my brother's cousin.
What?
Yes.
That's
My brother,
awesome.
me and my brother have different dads.
Hmm.
Uh, his side of the family, the Teelan side, she went to Hollywood and got an acting career. And so when I saw the end credits, I was like, Teelan. I knew there was an actress that my brother was related to with last name, same last name. I went on IMDb, and he was staying with me at the time when I saw it, and I asked him, like, is Jody Teelan your cousin, the one that went into acting? He's like, yeah. So yeah, that's.
Yep.
I've never met her, but
Her IMDb, she was born June 12th, 1962 in St. Cloud, Minnesota.
yep.
She has been in Four Friends. She was in that the year I was born in 1981. That gives you, I've given away my age here, folks. Twilight Time, The Black Stallion Returns, Doctor Story, American Playhouse, Duet, Starting Now, Follow Your Heart, Random Acts of Variety, Short Attention Span Theater, um, Grace Under Fire, One Night Stand, Playback. She was in The Wedding Singer.
Yep.
She was in Closer, Dawson's Creek, Touched by an Angel, Joan of Arcadia, You're Still Young, Death Do Us Part, Cryptic, Leggies, and the last thing she was in was Twin Peaks.
Yeah, she made a living for herself as bad actress. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, she was yeah, absolutely.
So I figured I'd spring that on you.
That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. I'll give you one. My it's totally unrelated, but my cousin, from my my uncle, he had a child that was not with any of my other cousins, and she and his mom, he and his mom, ended up moving to California shortly after he was born, and to get away from my uncle because he was an asshole, and he is now in charge and creator of Shark Week,
Really?
which is going on their 20th anniversary. Yeah, he is Shark Week.
That's crazy.
His name is Jeff, and he is the guy that makes that going. Yeah, absolutely. And I've never met him. Only talked to him briefly, like once or twice on Facebook.
Oh wow.
Mhm.
Craziness.
Right? Weird, right?
But so getting back, we find out that Frank and Doris, their son, was a soldier who
Hmm.
committed suicide, which Chad mocks like a
Oh my God.
what a fucking horrible. And just the look on everybody's face, and he's like, oh, I'm a soldier, I can't take it. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, Chad?
Yeah, Chad is a Chad. And you are not supposed to like Chad at all. And this was one of the scenes that really, really hammered that home. Um,
Like,
yeah,
he's mocking a soldier who died by suicide, and especially in this age, a lot of that's, PTSD related and shit
absolutely
like
it
that,
is.
which is just like, the fact that Chad can find humor in something like that is, yeah, he's not a good guy.
No, 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 no. And finally, the show ends back at the Roadhouse with Sharon Van Etten playing Tarifa.
I love this song.
I love that song.
Sharon Van Etten, I like her in small doses. I can't listen to a whole album of hers.
Nope, I can't do the same thing either, but usually on any one of her albums, there's about 3 gems.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Now, the show did. This is one I was kind of aware of before Twin Peaks.
Yes, I was aware of Sharon Van Etten before because I had, she's been around for a while.
Yeah.
And I will say that she is very talented. And when I say that, there's about 3 gems per album, both you and I are music junkies. She's a singer-songwriter, which is a little different in terms of musicians. And, you look at a lot of those famous singer-songwriters over the years. You had John Denver was a singer-songwriter. What's his name? Who did Bad Leroy Brown? Was a
Jim
singer-songwriter.
Croce.
Yes, thank you. Jim Croce. Neil Diamond was a singer-songwriter. You look at these people, and they usually come out with, like, over the course of a career, maybe 5 great songs. That's just the way it goes. But she is, one of the things I love about her is she's got that folk harmony that she does so well. And she's got a really great voice.
Yeah, again, I love her. It's just like, I guess singer-songwriters that's a kind of genre of music I can only listen to so much of.
Mm-hmm.
Even like when it's rare for me to sit and listen to somebody by themselves with an acoustic guitar. It's just hard for me. That's just who I am. Send hate mail to Paul Muad'Dib.
Yes, yeah, you can send me the hate mail. I will say though, I love this version of the song because the studio version is different.
Yeah,
and this particular version of it is amazing.
Yeah. No disagreement from me on that. And this is one of the few episodes that there's no dedication at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Although I think there was dedication, obviously, I think hidden in the show, given the case files.
Yeah.
The fact that he was, there were shout outs to the art director, the set designer, the camera assistants, the
were they dead?
I don't think they were dead.
Well, that's different then. That's a shout out. The dedications at the end of the episodes are the dead.
Yeah, that's fair. Although I have seen, oddly enough, I have seen some things that are dedicated to live people. So I don't fucking know.
I would have been shocked if they dedicated an episode to Kyle MacLachlan, because then I'd be like, did he die making this?
Right. Although I think this is the episode they should have dedicated to Miguel Ferrer for his best line.
So before we started the podcast, me and Paul were kind of talking. This is one of the weaker episodes for us.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's the drug dealers stuff. I just don't care. I'm sure there's people out there who do, but just it feels like they're with this episode, things are just kind of getting stretched out.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Adding a whole lot. I mean, Ike the Spike and the Gene Kelly and all that, it's good, but it just felt like it slowed up the pacing a bit.
Very much. The only thing of significance that came out of this particular episode, when you think it's a 58-minute episode, is Hawk finding those papers. That is it. That is the only real plot-driving element here, and the introduction of Ike the Spike.
Yeah. I mean, there's the case files with Bush and all that's just kind of moving things along, though. That wasn't. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's this episode I remember watching. I was like, I guess I was like, that was entertaining. I forget how I felt with the following episode. I think it picks it up a bit, but yeah, this was just one where if we're thinking this is like an 18-hour long movie, every movie has that. Pretty much every movie has a moment where it just kind of lulls because they're just trying to establish the story and move the plot along. And with Lynch, he likes to slow that down in his projects, and this is like that moment.
Yes, and this is definitely that episode. Yeah, we were talking about that. Really, the only thing, again, this is, we saw more of Janie personality. Okay. We learned that Tom Sizemore is doing some shady shit. Doesn't really push a whole lot. That's really a minor thing. Really, the introduction of Richard Horne being a fucking bastard is kind of the main chunk of this. And finding out that, there's, introducing Ike the Spike. I think there could have been other ways of doing it, but I'm not going to question it because it's Lynch. But this is definitely a lull episode.
Yep. Yeah. This is way better than the worst episodes of season 2. So.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And you start to get glimpses in this particular episode of things that are going to become more readily happening with the scene where Dougie was drawing.
Yeah.
It's just very, I mean, I think it was something like 4.5 minutes of him just doodling on these papers and nothing else. And you're going to see scenes like that more often in this episode, in this return.
The most egregious is the sweeping scene.
Yeah, that is egregious. Again, when we get to that, it unnerved me though. It did unnerve me. I was really expecting something.
Well, that's because you're always unnerved by green onions.
Fuck green onions, motherfucker. So other than that, yeah, so we got through this. We still got 12 more episodes to go, plus the Twin Peaks Final Dossier book.
Yep.
But unfortunately, yeah, this is going to be the last episode for at least probably 2 weeks.
You got to take care of your health first, man. That's
yeah.
We can hold off on talking Twin Peaks for a bit.
Yeah, and I apologize for that, but it's
don't be sorry.
Yeah.
I'm going to be plenty busy while you're out because I'm going to go to plugs now.
Yes, plug, please.
I got some interesting stuff. I'll do 2 weeks worth of Jodown plugs. We've established the next movie. We just did Foxcatcher.
Love that. I loved your review of that.
Sorry for some of the Michael Scott spoilers, but I'm sure without any context, you had no idea what I was talking about.
I had no idea. I didn't really get it. So don't worry about it.
Oh yeah. So we did Foxcatcher. Coming up is Venom.
Oh God, with Tom Hardy. Okay.
Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Tom
Have you seen that?
I love my Tom Hardy. I love my Tom Hardy. Brown picked that. And following that, I'm super excited. It's a documentary. It's the Metallica documentary, Some Kind of Monster.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I get to mock Dave Mustaine for crying. It's amazing.
What's that?
I get to mock Dave Mustaine for crying.
Oh, I mean, you've seen it. You've seen it, yes?
Yeah, I've seen it. There's a moment where he gets all emotional about being kicked out of Metallica. He was kicked out for being a mean drunk.
Yes, he was kicked out of being, but the way they did it was really shitty.
The movie, the best part of the movie is like it takes like a therapist to make them realize they're a bunch of assholes.
Well, and if I remember correctly, they fucking kicked the therapist. Like they all gang up on the therapist.
Oh yeah. They're a toxic group of people.
Yeah.
And they just like to put that out in the world, and it's there's so much unintentional hilarity in it. Like how they recorded an album based off of like jamming and then going to Pro Tools and making songs out of it.
It's so bad.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I'm excited to see your snark on that one. God, that was terrible. I haven't seen it since it came out, and I forgot a lot of it because it was just I hated it. I mean, I hated them. I be honest with you, I lost respect for Metallica back in high school with Napster.
Yeah, that whole thing is it very much tainted my view on them as well. I still will listen to Metallica from every now and then. I was never the biggest fan, but whatever.
Game time. What's your since we're plugging? What's your 3 favorite Metallica songs?
Oh God. See, I have to go and look now because I'm not even sure what the titles are.
Oh, sure. I get it. Like when Napster happened, I was a big Metallica fan, and I was heavy into Metallica, and they were probably the lightest rock I was listening to at the time. When it was really into rock, I was really into like more metal. But yeah, when that whole Napster thing happened, I was like, fuck you guys, I'm out.
Okay. I'm not doing a lot of deep tracks here.
Sure, of course.
3 would be Master of Puppets, Unforgiven, and and Orion, and I know 2 of those are from the same album. But Master of Puppets to me is a great. It's just a great, solid hard rock metal album.
Now, what's interesting to me is what I consider my favorite album of theirs was And Justice for All.
Have you heard? It's on YouTube and it's phenomenal. It's called And Justice for Jason.
I've listened to And Justice for Jason, and it should have been the way it was done.
Yeah, they did a remaster like 2 years ago of it, and they still just a giant fuck you to like the most positive and uplifting guy that they have pretty much ever had in their band. Just cut out his bass lines.
Yeah,
they kept it cut out, and so I'm glad somebody at least went and put it or mixed them back in.
Yep. And just real quick for those guys that don't know, Newsted and Ulrich said, we're during the editing, take that bass down, do it another 3 decibels. And you can't hear the bass, and it really does fuck with some of the songs.
It does. It was a weird spite thing. Long story short, they were taking a lot of their frustrations of Cliff Burton dying out on Jason, who had, he
wasn't there.
He wasn't there. He wasn't part of the band. They hired him as Cliff's replacement. He's already in a bad situation, and all they did this whole time in the band was shit on him. And then when they're starting to film the making of what was going to be their next album, is Saint Anger. He quits right away. He's fucking done. And it's by far one of my favorite moments in that movie. He's just like, I'm fucking done. I've had these guys.
And rightfully so. And even after all these years, he won't talk shit about them.
No, he won't.
He's really a stand-up dude. And now they got Trujillo, and that's that poor son of a bitch walked into a landfill. Okay, anyways, go on. Okay, so what else are you plugging?
So that's with the Joe Down. We'll have some episodes. We just because of what's been going on, we have a few in the can for Bears, Beats, and Bobbleheads. Talking Beats.
Yes.
So that will not be disrupted.
No. We made, because of Scott made the decision for that one that that is our shorter podcast. So it made sense for us to watch a couple episodes. And have that go on, which makes sense because The Office is a quick watch and that's a quick podcast.
Yeah, and it's pretty much in its infancy. We've done how many of these, and you guys with cast. With this, I'm more comfortable. I think we were all more comfortable. Just kicking that out instead of putting it on hiatus, which would probably just kill the podcast.
Agreed. And then what else you got? What else you plugging?
That's it for me. You guys will have a cast.
We will have a cast. We will be recording prior to me having the surgery, so we will have a cast. You may have to do the next cast, however.
I can do that.
Yep.
Speed 2 cruise control.
Yeah. God, do it to him. Do it to him.
You can't cast Keanu, Scott.
Oh my God. Yeah, I love it. So the will you cast, I will tell you what the dream project for that one is going to be and I told Joe this prior to the podcast, and it spiked his interest because he had no idea. The 1899 Cleveland Spiders baseball team. That will be the dream project. We got the other food podcast is on hiatus now because of the surgery. We are now the Cast That Movie, and this podcast is now on, I've said it before, is now playable on Google Podcasts as well. So we're on Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Podcasts.
And with that, Paul, fuck Gene Kelly, that motherfucker.